Let's find the radius of a hemisphere with a volume of 486 pi cubic centimeters. Okay, up to this point, they've been asking us for the volume or a comparison of the two, like ratio of the two things. But in this case, they're asking us for the radius when given the volume. So started writing it already, but what is the volume of a hemisphere? Well, the volume of a sphere would be 4/3 pi r cubed. Half of that would be 2/3 pi r cubed. We've been through that. And we're just going to go from there. So we know the volume is 486 pi cubic centimeters. And we have 2/3 and then pi r cubed. All right, let's go for the obvious first. Let's divide by pi. Now, if you want to divide by 2/3 pi, you can. I don't like to do that. Dividing by fractions, it's correct, but it's ugly. You get made fun of for it by some mathematical bullies. So we're going to be left with 486. That step can totally happen in your head. What I want to do now is multiply by 3/2. That's going to get rid of this 2/3 in the front. So the next step is basically like 3/2, 486 equals r cubed. So whatever I get for that, I'm going to divide that by 2 and then triple it, and that's going to be what r cubed is. Multiplying by 3/2 wipes out that 2/3. So here we go. So 3/2 times 486 is going to give me 729. Ah, lucky us. This is going to work out beautifully. Well, in order to find the radius, I need to take the cube root. So we're going to take the cube root. Let's use the red pen for that. Cube root here, cube root here. And the cube root of 729, which you can find on Desmos by going to the functions and scrolling down. You can press math on mine. 729 is going to give me 9. There we go. Oh, what is the radius? Well, it's 9, but let's be real honest. The radius is actually 9 centimeters. All right, let's keep going. Given a cone with a specific volume and a height of a specific number, find the radius. Okay, well, we're dealing with the volume of a cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared h. This one's going to be a little more decimally. Lights just went out of my classroom. That's what happens when you sit still long enough. Sit really still and do math, and the lights go out. Pi times the radius squared times the height, which is 7.3. Okay, we have a lot of stuff going on here. We're going to divide by a lot of things. Now, I didn't do it here where I was like, I don't want to divide by 2/3. I multiplied by 3/2 instead. Got all cranky and, like angry about it. It's like, dadgummit, we're going to multiply by 3/2. You can go back and write this if you want to. But it's basically what you have right here. Now, what I am going to do in this one that I didn't do on the last one is I am going to divide by a fraction. So let's divide. Oh, let's use purple. So I'm going to have 1/3 pi and 7.3. I'm just going to divide by everything that is not r squared because all this is multiplied by r squared. So I'm going to divide by 1/3 pi and 7.3. Again, not a big fan of dividing by fractions, but it works. So I'm just going to do it all in one step. Totally fine. Matter of preference. I preferred 2 on this one. I preferred not 2 on the last one. It's not right or wrong either way. Sometimes it just looks mean and gross, and you might get bullied for it. So I might get made fun of for this later. All right, a little cleaner to type in Desmos, a little sloppier in the calculator, but we're going to type it here anyway. So divided by parentheses if you're using a calculator, 1/3 times pi times 7.3, and that's what we have. Not the final answer, but that's what we have. 32.494. We'll stop there. And we're going to take the square root of that. I want to take the square root of actually the exact answer. With the lights off, there's a little bit of a glare from the window. It's kind of hard to see what's on my calculator. But I'm going to take the square root of my last answer. And I have, can you see it? I can. 5.7 is what I'm getting. So the radius is 5.7 centimeters.